family. So we really are glad to have you all here today. We have a lot of good news to share and some stuff to inspire you for the year end. But before we do that, we want to ask you a really cool question to kind of get us grounded and think about something really positive. So over to our Chief Operating Officer, Sela Martinez, to pose a good question.
Hello, everyone. So our question today is, where's your favorite place to be in nature?
And if you could drop it into the chat, we'll look at the chat and see what places in nature inspire you or make you feel at peace. So many to list, Robin. I know.
What are you feeling today?
There you go.
Where in the
Beach.
mountain, the beach,
Beach,
yes,
beach, beach.
yes. Janet
Big
and
Sur.
I are Big Sur. Nice, the beach.
Ooh, the bayou. Oh, the bayou
that's a
is
good
so
one, Dr.
good.
Mel. Yep.
Navajo Mountain. Yeah. Naatsi-san. How do you say that? Naatsi-san?
Natsitsan.
Natsitsan. Anywhere there's paddling, which means water. Forest. Ooh, in Guinea. Yes. Rebecca knows that part of the world well. Is that Futa Jalon? Futa Jalon? What about you, Miss Sela?
I love the beach too. I'm a California person, and so anywhere on the California coast is my favorite. There's just so many great spots. But yeah, Monterey and Half Moon Bay are close to my heart.
Turkey Run Forest Park. Hey, thank you.
Go.
I like that.
That's great.
Almost our national bird if it had been up to Benjamin Franklin. But then we would be eating our national bird all the time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Poor bird. Yeah, for me, I think being anywhere where you can see a wide horizon, whether that's beach, desert, standing on top of a mountain and seeing the horizon. I know there's a lot of research related to that really helps humans to feel grounded and a sense of calm and peace. And now there's a lot more research in the in the medical sector about the impacts of being out in nature just to self-soothe, to do that water or the air, what do they call it? Not air, forest breathing that the Japanese have taught us about. And just the impacts of being able to regulate your heart rate, your emotions, and all of those things. But what do you do if you're, in the middle of an urban area or you're in a place that isn't what you would consider nature? Does nature have to be a national park? Can it be a plant? Can it be an image? And I think yes. So sometimes if you can't access those things, just try simply imagining them. That's the great thing about being human is you can imagine things and your body doesn't know the difference between your memory or your imagination and the real thing. That's why we can read fiction and watch movies and believe those things, even though we know it's not real, but you can close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just picture that place. And so that's something you can do anytime, day or night. Doesn't have to be 20 minutes, although if you want to work on a meditation practice, good for you. But even just 30 seconds can be really helpful. I've heard a lot of people say since the November election that I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to fight, to litigate, to just resist what's happening in my country. And it's the US, but also other countries that are having civil unrest or change of leadership. And I hear that and I really feel it. And I don't have some amazing antidote to what to do. But I for myself, I've started thinking about different energy. So no, maybe who I was in 2016 here in the US and the energy I had then and the ideas and the fight, that is a different person. She's kind of around, but she's not the same. So my energy right now, I'm calling it exquisite energy. And it's the energy that feels really natural and good that I want to bring. And it could be as simple as encouraging someone to take that leap for an exciting opportunity in their career. It can be cheering someone on who's just published a book, for example. It could be just listening to someone who's going through something. Um, I'm thinking of it as exquisite energy because it's like when you're holding a baby bird that just ran into your window, or you're removing a spider from your bathtub, which I do a lot of, that I gotta scoop it and put it into a cup and get it outside really fast. And it's that kind of energy where it's just the right amount of pressure. I'm not trying to squish it, I'm trying to make sure it lives. That's what I can do right now. And maybe you can tap into some of your own exquisite energy for what's ahead. And certainly it is totally about community. And this is what we have on our screen today. It brings me a lot of joy. Sarah, welcome. Sarah Hoagland from Missoula, Montana. So glad that you're with us. And yeah, so many, Tracy, and who else is Britta? Welcome. Thank you so much for you all being here. Community is one of the antidotes because we don't need a permission. We don't need anyone's authority. We can do this anytime we want. And I know that's not always the case in every country, but to the extent you can log on and you have some Wi-Fi, we can do this. And it really does help us to build our resilience and support one another. And that's what Planet Women is all about. So a warm and special welcome to you all, especially to our board of directors members, our advisory council, our monthly Ripple members, our amazing partners who make the work happen, our donors and funders, and allies all over the globe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm zooming in with Sela here from the lands of the Salinan and the Northern Chumash tribes here on the Central Coast, which is basically in between San Francisco in the north and Los Angeles in the south. And I want to remind us of what we're all about. Planet Women's vision is about building a world where the vibrant diversity of all Earth's people can collaborate and be on equal footing to care for our planet. And we do that by partnering with women. And before we go further, always want to just be sure that we are inclusive about how we use the word women. Our definition includes cisgender women, women who identify feminine identifying, two-spirit, trans, genderqueer, non-binary, all of whom have been typically excluded in the environmental space. You are all welcome. Next slide, let's get the slides rocking and rolling. Sorry, I forgot we hadn't got them on yet. We do have some images to inspire you and delight you today and to kind of just paint the picture of what you have all made possible. Basically, Planet Women was founded because we saw some problems. We really saw that there are opportunities that weren't being met in terms of how we solve our global crises, whether it's environmental crises, financial stability of governments, peace building. We think there's a way forward that looks very different. And so on the next slide, you'll see some statistics that we've gathered over the years. There's lots more than this. And it's not to bum you out and say, wow, that's not as good as I'd want it to be, but rather a way to, as a call for action. We launched in July 2020, so we're 4.5 years old. And we partner with women because of the statistics that you see here. I believe that the relationship between women and women identifying people and leadership and the impact to our Earth is completely clear. There's a lot of research. Without women, we have no durable environmental solutions and we have no lasting solutions. And that's why we've not met our Paris climate goals. It's why we haven't met a lot of our biodiversity goals that were set more than a decade ago in Japan. And we're facing really big impacts to our communities. There are still fires burning in California. It's December. Fires are burning all over, not just California, all over the country, and it impacts everyone. I know a lot of our smoke from the west has been drifting out to the east, and I get texts from my friends and family in the East Coast saying, can you stop? Well, would that we could. And so we really need women's leadership more than ever. Our next slide will show you that our work at Planet Women is guided by two strategies. You see on the left, protect nature and support communities. We invest in projects that are led by local women. And we invest in the communities most impacted by environmental degradation. We also, on the right, run programs designed to get more diverse women into leadership positions across the environmental space. The next slide, you'll see the way we do that is we restore and protect forests and rivers that are critical to a healthy planet across 3 geographic areas. That's the Amazon River Basin, the Congo River Basin, and the Colorado River Basin. So really focusing on women and water. And our team also integrates gender into field projects for better outcomes. We embody and teach our leadership model, which centers women and marginalized communities. And we really value power sharing. We really value collaboration and compassion. And we want to balance scientific wisdom with our intuition and indigenous wisdom. Now, Janet and Lilian will talk about that Transform the Culture of Conservation programs in a moment, but I wanted to share an amazing map. Next slide. And thank you so much to Meg Doppin, who helped get this map up and running. It's really cool. It's really incredible to see the breadth of impact that Planet Women has had in a short amount of time. Each dot that you see on this map represents a woman in our 100 Women Pathway program, our CEO network, Women's Leadership Circle, and our Gender Mainstreaming course, which are part of our Center for Gender Equity, Environment, and Africa. It's basically all of the people, women and men, and people of all genders who are participating in those programs. But for me, it's not just a dot. Each dot is a ripple. Each dot is potential because it's not just about the one person. When you have one person in your life who inspires you, that ripples out, and then that person can inspire the next and inspire the next. So we've learned a lot in the past 4.5 years, and what I hear continuously and consistently from all of our partners and our wonderful participants is that women need funding to do their work. They also need safe spaces to gather and network and build each other's confidence and trust and network so that they can pursue their dreams for a better future. So here we are, 4 years later, more than 4 years later, we've invested more than $4 million to support rising women leaders and projects in the field. So it's a good feeling to wrap up the year and to have this opportunity to thank you for making it possible, because each of you has played a huge role. And if you're unclear on what your role is, text me and I will immediately say, this is how you helped. This is how you connected us. This is how you helped us with something that we were befuddled by. This is how you contributed to making a dream happen. Gifts of all sizes make a huge impact. Every one of these dots can make something happen with your gifts. So I'm really excited to turn it over to our Senior Vice President of our 100 Women Pathway program, Janet Nguyen. Over to you, Janet.
Thank you, Christine. Very excited to be here. This is from our most recent gathering in Atlanta, and some of the women in the picture are actually here, Dr. Mal and Shannon. Kimberly's also here from our current cohort. If we could go to the next slide, we'll see the full cohort. So these are the amazing women in our current cohort, the 4th cohort of the 100 Women Pathway. They are currently halfway through their 8-month program, which is hard to believe. It seems like a blink of an eye that all of a sudden, we are halfway through. But as you know, women CEOs nominate women leaders for the 100 Women Pathway. And so we've been very grateful to our community of women CEOs who have helped to elevate the women by nominating them for the 100 Women Pathway. Sorry, I have a little cold. Okay, it's really gratifying to witness firsthand the transformation of these women in such a short period of time. And if you go to the next slide, I want to share where we are from when we started in April of 2022. That's when we launched our first cohort. And so far, more than 60 women CEOs have nominated over 110 women for the 100 Women Pathway. And with the cohort, we have 64 rising women leaders who've participated. And of those women to date, we have 11 women who have advanced to their next senior level roles. And we have several who are well on their way in this current cohort. Many of those women are women of color. We are very focused on ensuring that the program, the 100 Women Pathway, is accessible to women who may not have had access to this type of program in the past. And so we're happy to ensure that we have a really diverse, amazing group of women, rising leaders. And I wanted to share in terms of impact, sorry, the next slide, please. I wanted to share thoughts directly from the women in this cohort because I think it's so meaningful to hear from them directly. This was after our most recent gathering in Atlanta. So I'll just give you a minute to read what they had to say. Feedback like this confirms for me that we're having the impact that we wanted to have when we launched Planet Women. It's what we envisioned. It's what we believed that women needed. And supporting these women in a meaningful way, in a way that they need to be supported, is really helping them. And watching them flourish is really gratifying for all of us at Planet Women. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't. Anyway, so we're grateful to our community. I think we have been focused very much on creating a safe space and building community, and that's what we're doing here today. And I'm really grateful for each and every one of you for joining us. Next, I'd love to have you hear from our managing director, Emma Robbins. She'll be sharing with us a little bit about the most recent Women in Water convening.
Hey everybody, I'm off camera and jumping on and off because I have a 3-year-old who's not in school today, so Netflix is babysitting her right now. Glad to be here. Thanks for that rundown, Janet. As was mentioned, I'm the managing director, and I worked really closely with Christine and a lot of other organizations on our second annual Women in Water convening this year. It was really special. We got to collaborate with the Tohono O'odham Nation, which, if you don't know, is in southern Arizona. I myself am Navajo and I'm from northern Arizona, and every time I'm down there, I learn a lot about water and water issues in the different portions of the Colorado River Basin. And so I mention that because that's mainly what we do, is we come together and learn things. Here is one of the leaders of the San Javier district. And can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. One thing that is really special about the Women in Water convening is it's really a lot of allies and Indigenous women specifically, and femme-identifying folk who come together and have discussions not only about water in terms of policy or water rights settlement or WASH, water sanitation and hygiene, but also talking about the cultural side of it and how important that is. There are a lot of people from different sectors that are there, emerging leaders, established leaders, community members, and it's just a special time to be together to discuss issues that we're facing, but also solutions that we're implementing. This year was really special. Next slide, please. Oh, there's Sharon, who I know is on the call, one of my faves. This is just an example of relationships that have been built in the past, and it's sort of coming together again and having important discussions, but also meeting new people and keeping those connections going. One thing that I think Planet Women does that's really great is bringing us together and actually providing a space that we might not normally have. But one thing that really set this convening apart from last year's was we got to visit a riparian restoration site on the Tohono O'odham Nation. And this is pictured here. And it was really beautiful because it was a combination of all of the things that I mentioned in terms of cultural preservation, um, nature, water rights. And I think it was just so important to be out in nature together and experience this. I think as a Native woman and as other Natives on this call might feel, oftentimes we're sort of watered down or people think we're like this monolith, but it's really great as an Indigenous woman to be with another tribe or another nation and learn about the different cultural views of the way that water is viewed. So looking forward to the third annual in 2025. I think this year we're going to be on the Nepakea or the Navajo Nation. So going to be very exciting. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off now.
Perfect.
Lilian!
Yeah, thank you, Emma. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hey, everybody, fasten your seatbelt. I am going to take you to a safari trip in the beautiful continent of Africa. Are you ready? My name is Lilian Pari Umuhoza, and I lead Planet Women's Center for Gender Equity and the Environment, known as CG. Next slide, please. So what is CG? CG has two main programs. One is gender mainstreaming, and the other one is Women's Leadership Circle. And then, the Women's Leadership Circle. Through these two programs, Planet Women provide training on leadership skills, capacity building, seed grants, and access to information and many other forms of resources, primarily to African women, environmental leaders, and men who are gender champions and working to achieve gender equity in conservation for their communities. It's been 2 years since the launch of CG, and so far we have had 6 cohorts with 168 members working in more than 22 countries across Africa. Next slide, please. The gender mainstreaming, I will start with the gender mainstreaming program. It is a program that trains both women and men, as I said, who are environmental leaders and gender advocates, working to advance gender equity and develop solutions for the climate crisis in their communities. This is an 8-week intense training where participants meet online once a week to learn about best ways to conduct gender analysis, gender action plan, monitoring and evaluation in gender mainstreaming, as well as other tools and approaches to address gender gaps and develop solutions within their own communities. We have had 4 cohorts in this program, which makes up a total of 115 African men and women gender advocates. Next slide, please. So at the end of the gender mainstreaming course, participants receive certificates, and from their feedback, many have mentioned that they have already started applying the knowledge from gender mainstreaming in their community project. Others are giving similar trainings to their coworkers, community members, which is an amazing ripple effect of this program. And with these certificates, they hope to get promotions in their work, and they feel confident enough to apply for higher positions in their careers. Next slide, please. Now, the Women's Leadership Circle. This is a Planet Women's program that offers leadership training and small grants to support African women who are working to address environmental issues on a grassroots level in their communities. The program consists of 8 sessions that run for 8 months, participant meeting online once a month. The program covers different topics ranging from storytelling and communications, public speaking, emotional intelligence, the art of fundraising, and many other skills that helps them to improve on a personal and professional level. We have had 2 cohorts so far, and the first cohort of 21 women graduated. Currently, we are halfway through the sessions for cohort 2, which consists of 30 women. In total, Women's Leadership Circle has 51 members from different 15 African countries. Next slide, please. And at the end of the Women's Leadership Program, per participant receive an amount of $3,000 maximum is given to each member of the Women's Leadership Circle who apply for grants to implement projects that respond to the environmental challenges in their own communities or invest in their own professional development. All 21 women from first cohort received funding, and they worked on different projects, including tree planting. One of the women used grant to finish her master's program in Uganda, in Makerere University. Others conducted trainings in their local communities about environment, climate change, and women empowerment, and many other interesting community-driven projects. Next slide, please. This is the last slide, and I'm concluding, but I really want to share with you what is unique about CG program. First, the people we work with are doing amazing work on a grassroots level, but funding has been a common challenge for many of them. To respond to this challenge, Planet Women offer microgrants that I mentioned above, and it's given to the members through trust-based approach. Trust-based microgrant approach simplify the application process, minimize paperwork, and foster an environment of confidence and reliability. Second, CG apply community-based approach. We respond to the needs of the local people, and we let them lead because we believe they know better about challenges that their own communities are facing. At Planet Women, we don't work for the people, we work with the people. Thank you. Now I'm going to pass it on to Jojo.
Thank you, Lilian. That was wonderful. I always love following Lilian because she does such an excellent job talking about CG. And the stories out of those programs are incredible. What you've been doing, Lilian, and Irene and Benita as well. Thank you. Yeah, so this is where we're at. We just went over our transform strategy. This loops back to what Christine was saying at the beginning. This is really focused on changing the leadership paradigm of conservation. So you heard about 100 Women Pathway from Janet, CG from Lilian, as well as the Women in Water convening, which kind of straddles both of our strategies since it's place-focused in the Colorado Basin, but it's also very much about creating a new leadership model. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our field programs, our field strategy, which largely relates to our grant making. And as Christine previewed, we have 3 regions that we focus on: the Amazon River Basin, Congo River Basin, and Colorado River Basin. So next slide, please. So here's some nice, pretty photos to give you a sense of these places. Really incredible biodiversity in all 3 of them. They're very different, but we chose them for very specific reasons, and it all relates to climate and the richness that you can find. So Congo Basin and Amazon River Basin are the 2 largest rainforests in the world. They have a lot of similarities in the issues that they face. So deforestation is an enormous problem, and that's driven largely by agriculture, mining, and in particular, as we're transitioning to renewables, you'll see a lot of renewable related mining happening, oil and gas, of course, gold, and then just general logging issues. So local communities in both of these regions, and Indigenous communities in particular, are really frontline in protecting these areas and also driving positive stewardship models. These are so important for mitigating global climate change. Protecting that forest is essential to managing our global temperature, managing global rainfall, oxygen levels across the environment. So really important places. Then we have the Colorado Basin, not tropical. It's arid, it is dry. So also rich in biodiversity, really incredible place, as Emma was talking about. But this is one that we felt strongly about working in because it is so hard hit by climate and it's in our backyard. Many of us are based in the United States and in the West Coast of the US. And so with the Colorado, it's facing what they're calling aridification. It has gotten so extended in its drought conditions for so long that it's actually changing the environment at this point. So very critical moment now to think about how are we changing our practices and getting ready for this new normal. So those are the 3 places and why we chose them. And one of our absolute favorite things that we get to do as an organization is share money with organizations on the ground who are doing incredible work. We don't need to recreate the wheel. We have our own projects that we're really in love with, And we want to be able to support women leaders in the field who are doing incredible work already. So this year we gave away $188,000 in grants to 13 organizations and 9 individual women. And those women are largely Women's Leadership Circle seed grants. And so when we think about what we're targeting with these grants, it's really increasing gender equity, increasing women's leadership in local communities, and of course, improving biodiversity health, as well as protecting forests and rivers. So next slide, please. Here are some photos of a few highlights from this year. I can't go over all 13 organizations, but I wanted to give you a flavor of the kinds of things that our community has made possible. So I will start with Congo Education Partners, which is the topmost photo. This is an incredible school, Jolu Technical College. It is in the most remote part of the Congo Basin. It's in Democratic Republic of Congo. It's a 2-week motorbike ride to get through the forest, to get out there. But it's such a rich, incredible area of rainforest. They have this amazing school that is started by a Congolese doctor who cares a lot about educating women. So we provide scholarships to cover tuition for women students, as well as faculty salaries. This is the women that graduated this past year. And we've been supporting them for 3 years. This year in particular, they told us was critical to get this funding because Benefit, the school, is actually being taken up to become part of the public school system in the Congo. However, that comes with higher tuition rates for students. So they really, really needed the extra money this year. So huge thank you to our community for enabling those grants this year. On our left, we have the Indigenous Women's Fire Learning Exchanges. This was something we funded through Indigenous Peoples Burning Network, which is an incredible initiative of different Indigenous communities coming together to reignite cultural burning practices. So this is traditional land stewardship by Native communities using fire. So managed fires that they're lighting in the environment. It's incredible. It totally revitalizes many landscapes. And there are a number of women that got to participate in exchanges due to Planet Women grants. So huge thank you to IPBN and the Nature Conservancy for administering those. And then the last photo of our lovely girls here this is with Legato Initiative. So this is an activity that's happening in Peru in this incredible biodiverse region, Megantoni Machigenga. I practice saying that. So it's in the Amazon basin, incredible biodiversity, really wonderful. Legato has this particular approach that they use with Indigenous local communities where they do what they call legacy planning. So they work with the community to think about all of the intersecting ways that they can shape their future. So health, education, culture, governance, and then they create a legacy plan with the community and help them implement it, including helping them go after funding to create projects that are going to actualize the future that they want to see. So it's both conservation and sustainable development. And the 360 approach is youth, women, men, and elders are all included in the planning process. So these are actually 2 young girls participating in the youth portion where they are drawing the future that they want to see. So really incredible. And thank you to Legato, IPPN, and Congo Education Partners for all of this work. Okay, next slide. So this is it's actually a screenshot of our website. These are all the grant partners that we've had over the last 4 years. We are so proud of all of the things that they're doing. The link at the bottom will show you if you want to actually go to this page. All of these are hyperlinks. You can click and read about all of these incredible programs that you heard about today, as well as everybody that's on here. We encourage you to check them out, donate. It's just the best part of my day to get to talk to our partners and think about all the amazing work that's happening. So yes, thank you all for making this possible, and we so appreciate you. Turn it over to Kimberly.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here. That was really, I get to do this every day, which makes me very, very lucky, but it's still so awe-inspiring to hear all of the projects and, just some of the highlights at once. And our annual report, as mentioned, will be coming out later today. So you'll get to hear a lot more detail from partners and our community members. So stay tuned for that. We would love to hear your questions. And I think we have a good sized group where we could either put them in the chat, or if people want to raise their Zoom hand, you can pop on and ask your question. So I'll give you a moment to do that. And while you're doing that, I will kick off with my own question, which is, are you pumped up? Are you inspired? Are you feeling ready to support this work and support creating a healthy planet for all life? And if you are, there's lots of ways of offering support. What we really need right now are funds to continue this work in 2025, as we have a lot of work to do still ahead, as we all know. So there are opportunities to give. Here's a QR code, which is very cutting edge, and there will be a link in the chat. And, you really get so much bang for your buck donating to Planet Women, right? I mean, the funds ripple out to protecting forests, which are sequestering carbon, and to rivers, which are the lifeblood of communities, and to generating sustainable livelihoods and supporting family and community health and protecting wildlife, and the list goes on and on. So advancing, women's leadership in US-based conservation organizations. It's really such a great use of dollars. And when you do donate, you'll be asked if you want to make it recurring. And there's lots of great reasons for that. As mentioned, just really, it's an exponential investment in the amazing projects happening, but also you get to be a member, yay, of the Ripple, which I am fortunate enough to steward. And here are just a few folks. We have about 90 Ripple members now, and some of the people are on this call. And it's a really incredible group. And in 2025, we need to get people together. We had a couple of gatherings, 3 gatherings this year, which is one of the perks, intimate member gatherings, as well as special communications. But we have tribal leaders, folks using documentaries to raise awareness about environmental issues. We have Rebecca Kormos on the call, who wrote this incredible book called Intertwined about the relationship between gender equity and environmental and climate justice. We have Yasmina in Indonesia, who's teaching women and children about climate and what they can do to steward the environment. So lots of people, impossible to name how impressive this community is. So we encourage you to join. And if you join right now, I think we'll see it and we'll shout you out. Or if
It looks like Robin just joined. Thank you, Robin.
Oh, yes, Robin. Hi, Robin.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome. And so with that, we'll get to questions. I'm going to take this slide down so we can just see everybody. And if you want a moment to get ready and breathe it all in, we'll just open the space.
We also welcome comments if you just would like to share a thought or an idea. It doesn't have to be a question.
Yeah, and if you've participated in a program, I know there's some 100 Women Pathway folks on the call, and let us know how that went for you. Will I see the Zoom hands? I think just jump on, just in case I don't see the Zoom hands.
Hey guys, this is Shannon, Shannon Lee. I'm in the current cohort. I'm trying to both sign up on the app and respond to your things at the same time, and I'm not doing well at multitasking. So I am planning to sign up. I just wanted to share how amazing I have found the experience thus far. I participated in the in-person group this past, what was that, November, October? I can't keep up with the timing, but I can't tell you how many people I have talked to about this since. I have participated in countless leadership development things over the years, but I have never participated in a multi-day all women event such as this before. And it was just so powerful and so emotional. and so fearless. I keep telling people that there were boxes of Kleenex everywhere, and no one saw that as a sign of weakness, right? We're passing a baby around. We have a, like there was a mom nursing, like everything about it was so empowering and so uplifting, yet so different from male spaces. And I am a woman with a husband and 2 sons, and I adore them, but it was just so different to be in this space with all women, and how uplifting and smart and funny and kind and thoughtful and intelligent they all are. So thank you for including me in this group. I think you guys are doing incredible work, and I love seeing all that you just shared and all of the other folks who are part of this network. So thank you. I am certainly grateful to be part of it, and look forward to continuing to participate moving forward, and to being in our current cohort.
Yay! Thank you so much, Shannon.
Yes.
Beautiful
Thank you guys.
words. And I love your festive earrings too.
Oh, thank you. I'm a kid of grew up in the 80s. You must have theme earrings on for a holiday event. Yeah. And big ones, right? Big themed earrings. Yeah.
Thank you. Sharon, go ahead.
Hey, and I don't have earrings on today. I'm wearing a flannel shirt. I'm comfy at home, and so no earrings at the moment. Hi, I joined because Emma said I should when I saw her last week in Las Vegas, and I haven't been that familiar with your organization other than through the Women in Water convenings and some conversations. So I'm a little bit learning. This was a very nice presentation. I wanted to kind of make a comment or two and then maybe have a question or two, and that is so I'm older than a lot of you are, and back in 1988 there was an organization that was looking for women to participate in their program. It was called Leadership America. And at that time, and I only got an email from them today, so I might not have even thought about them, but it's connected to your working with CEOs and having women come to a multi-day program. And I got this and I just thought, hey, this looks really interesting. And like maybe I can figure out how to get the money to go to it because it's not cheap and I didn't have the funding. And so, not for you to answer now, but I do have questions about your model of yes, you get nominations from a CEO. How do you what's your universe or sample of CEOs you reach out to? Are they committing to fund the people? Are you giving scholarships and all that? Because that was one of those really powerful experiences, not focused only on like planet environmental issues. And I wonder if there might be some synergies that maybe Planet Women could send 1 or 2 people to that. They run an annual program and so forth. So, and interestingly, the founding executive director, big person behind it, I believe, still lives in Atlanta. So you talked about doing something in Atlanta. Her name is Martha Farmer. But I'm thinking about synergies here. And I just want to mention, I think it's great that you focused on the Colorado River Basin as one of the basins. And as Emma well knows, and I think Christine, you do, there's a lot going on there relating to women and elevating Indigenous voices, women's voices, and the like. And so it was mentioned about the Indigenous Women's Leadership Network, and I have a question about that. Then there's also this Global Women in Water Diplomacy Network that's very inclusive and open, that is having its annual meeting to run down on its activities Tuesday morning at 6 o'clock Pacific time, and then go from there. But if anybody's interested in that, I can give you information. But here's my other question, which I think is an easier one, and that is, in terms of the Women in Water convening and Indigenous Women's Leadership Network, and they being on the list of, it looked like grantees, I am curious about what kind of funding, was it travel funding so people could attend, or what kind of funding was provided to Indigenous Women's Leadership Network, if you're willing and able to share that?
Yeah, I can. Thanks, Sharon, for all of that. I'm a big fan of yours, so I appreciate you sharing all of this and your questions. Christine, unless I'm mistaken, it's unrestricted, right?
So
Yeah.
you just give a grant to them and then they use it in whatever way they see appropriate.
Yeah, and I think it's okay if I say the number, right? Like it's public information. I think this year we gave them $40,000. And so, they have
45,000.
45, 45, yeah. And they have a pretty small operating budget. So I'm proud to say that we're one of their largest donors. And, obviously we're all about trust-based philanthropy and making sure that they're putting the dollars where they see fit. So um, it's not it for the Women in Water convening too. We also do provide scholarships for those who need it because not everybody can afford to go to Tucson, if you're flying in from another portion or driving from the res or whatever. Um, it's something that I think that accessibility is really important. And uh, Janet can talk about 100 Women Pathway, but I agree with you. If we're going to be working with communities that are in need, generally people don't have hundreds of dollars to fly or pay for a hotel. So that's something else that's really important is making it accessible financially for people to attend, because I've also been in those situations where I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing, but crew is $500. The Colorado River Water Users Association. Whispering this here, I did not register this year, and I was just planning on going to IWLN and the WTI lunch and dinner, but it was one of those things where I kind of just snuck in. But I mean, it's so much money, not everybody can do that.
Yeah. And just one note, Emma, I don't know if you saw it, but this also just came through my email. So one of the things about me, I don't know most of you, but I have a vast number of connections and networks. And so Talia Bear just sent the notice that they're recruiting a new staff leader for the Indigenous Women's Leadership Network. So Emma, if you haven't gotten that, let me know, and so you can circulate it.
Yeah, I just
Um,
got it. We'll do that. We'll do it for the 100 Women Pathway and for the Women in Water convening email serve.
yeah, okay, great. Great.
Janet, do you want to answer the other question about how we fund the pathway? I think that might be relevant for a number of folks.
Yes, yes. So, we didn't want cost to be a barrier for the women in the pathway. So the entire 8-month program, both the in-person gathering and the virtual programming, is all covered by donors and grant funding.
That's great. That's hugely important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I don't want to dominate, but just for those who don't know me, I live in Tucson, Arizona. I'm a faculty member and director water center at the University of Arizona. Very applied in my work, and as I said, work globally down to locally, all levels, and raising the voices of, or let me put it this way, diversifying voices in water resources is a big thrust of my work.
Great. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon. And Janet, just since we can, we might as well shout out some of our big funders for the pathway this year. We were really lucky to get a very large 100K grant from Rewild. So a special thank you to Nina Page Hadley, who helped broker that. So huge thank you to Rewild for funding such a bulk of our work, in particular for cohort 4. And the Maxwell Hammerhand Foundation is also one of our core funders who's been funding us for the pathway for the last 3 years in a row now. So very grateful for all of that support. And of course, all of our donors in some way offer funding to support the program.
Yeah, thanks, Jojo. Any other questions? We have a few minutes left. Comments? Participants want to share?
Yeah. Am I allowed to ask questions of the group?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call upon our ally, Hank Colley. Hank has worked with women and women's groups for a long time in his career, and I think was doing it before it was as fashionable and cool and necessary and morally right. So I just wondered, Hank, if you could reflect on what is it like to be the only guy right now, and how are you feeling about working with Planet Women and hearing about these updates?
Christine, how did I know that you were going to call on me? One thing is that when Christine jumped in to head up Planet Women, I started exactly the same month in creating Nature for Justice. And she's been a great partner and working together at many different levels. And, I'm really amazed at the progress you've made over 4 years. I mean, good on you. The whole team has done such an excellent job. I really like and impressed with the 100 Women program. I was trying to think about ways in which those women, as they grow in their careers, what are the ways in which we could facilitate, that. We're in the process of looking for 2 or 3 folks. When I get the scopes of work done, I'll send them to Christine or JoJo or somebody, Planet Women, so that you can post them on, your website. And I guess, for us, in thinking about, the work that we do, for those of you that aren't familiar, and I think most of you would not be familiar, we're focused on climate impact communities and helping them use nature-based solutions. Sometimes jumping into the carbon markets, we're looking at nature credits, all sorts of different things. We have a lot of work with First Nations in Canada, Indigenous groups in Canada. We work with Black farmers here in the United States, and we work across 6 or 8 different African countries. And what we've seen in our work, and we integrate it into all the projects we're designing, is the role of women and the disproportionate impact of climate on women in these communities. So as we design a program, as we think about this, we're always thinking about the gender issues, issues around fair benefit sharing. We've become experts actually in thinking about fair benefit sharing for all these agreements. And it's really amazing to me because we're so heavily involved in the carbon world, and the companies, the groups, the investors, even the foundations and the big NGOs that are involved in this. And the lack of transparency on thinking about benefits that accrue to communities is just really striking. It's horrible. And so we've launched a program to help groups think about this, fair benefit sharing. And we're making progress on that, but it's very slow because people just don't want to share what they're doing. I look forward to having further discussions with all the Planet Women leadership to think about ways in which we can work together, because there is a lot of overlap in our geographies. So thank you very much for Christine for inviting me, and it's really great to see, and congratulations on the incredible progress you've made in the last 4+ years. I can't believe it's been 4+ years.
Thank you so much, Hank. It's so nice to have you.
Yeah. Congratulations on all Nature for Justice's progress too. It's been great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes. Lots of opportunities for collaboration, and there's a lot of overlap of folks' interests and work in this group. So we could really talk for ages, but we are just about out of time. If there are any burning comments, now's the moment. Okay.
Lydia, feel free to share if you want to share. I see you put a comment in.
Yeah, as I said, Lydia is a member of the Women's Leadership Circle. So happy to see you here, Lydia.
Wow, 2,500 community-based groups. That's a lot. Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lydia. Yeah, and shout out to Dawn J. Hi, Dawn J. She's been our intern. And yeah, as someone mentioned, did a ton of work planning the Atlanta cohort gathering. I believe you also have helped with the Google map that's charting all of our work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. Well, happy holidays, everyone. You'll get a follow-up email about this, and then you'll get another email with the annual report. And we're really excited about the format. I'm doing everything I can to not just blurt out what exactly is happening, but you will see it later today. And you can explore the areas of your interest and hopefully the whole thing. And we are just so, so, so grateful for your time and attention. And please follow up with us anytime. You can always email us info@planetwomen.org, and we'll see you on the other side in 2025 when we get together.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Thank you.
Martha.
Bye, Mom.
See your beautiful faces.
I like your tree.